I'm Deniss. I'm architect at Levelpath. So here, this is the second time we are organizing a DevClub event. Second time we chose to talk about AI. Last time we were talking about AI on the product side. Today we'll be talking more about AI in our daily lives as developers. This presentation will not include a lot of text. It will be mostly pictures, so if you have your reading glasses on, you probably can take them off. We will also talk about money. We will have a live demo, well, maybe semi-live. We will see how it goes. I will try not to tell you things that you can easily find in other videos or documentation. I will try to tell you more like about Levelpath, experience with AI tools, and tell you some things that you cannot, hear anywhere else. Also, Edgar's mentioned that chocolate is a good motivator. How about socks? By the end of this presentation, all these socks on my table will disappear somewhere in this crowd. You don't have to pay attention to what I will be saying. There will be no quiz, but we will figure something out how to give those away. Yeah. This presentation is a little bit like YouTube video. We had advertisement just before. We have clickbaity title, how we try to replace developers. And we will get to this topic by the end of this talk. But I want to give you a little bit of background first. So, Levelpath, we were trying to embrace AI from the very beginning. Our first ever hackathon was by the time when ChatGPT 3.5 came out, and we were trying to use APIs. We had like early access. As developers, we have access to almost virtually any tool on the market. We can ask and get licenses for different tools. And in the past couple of years, we tried virtually all of them. Maybe not all, but a lot of them. Our main favorites in past couple of years are here on the screen. Obviously, we started with GitHub Copilot, and it served us quite well. Folks who are preferring IntelliJ products, they're using JetBrains AI. Later, we switched to Cursor as a kind of even better tool. We tried different tools, not only for coding but also for pull request reviews. Also, Cursor has a great tool called Bugbot. Graphite has this Diamond review tool. But as it is today, we are switching to Claude Code. And I will talk about Claude Code in a moment. But first, I want to talk a little bit about how we arrived here. So somewhere like in the beginning of this summer, we started to hear more and more about Claude Code, both from our developers, so within the team. Also, it was impossible to go to Reddit. Well, for me, it was impossible to go to Reddit and not to see like 5 posts about how great Claude Code is. So internally, we kind of started to feel a little bit of pressure to try it out, and we did, and it looked great for us. And at that point, we kind of made a decision. We want to centralize or maybe unify different tools that all team is using, and maybe focus on one, but use it the best way possible. Again, at the time, Claude Code looked like the best one on the market. Maybe Cursor is also really close. But we'll also discuss a little bit of reasons later. We decided to switch to Claude Code. And funny story here, it was like in the midst of all this Claude Code rising popularity, and we were using it with personal accounts, with these prepaid plans, but with corporate credit cards, and we wanted to switch to an enterprise account. And we made a decision that we want to switch, and we were trying to obtain enterprise account from Anthropic. And our emails were just not coming through. We were receiving probably AI-generated responses. Let's like try again later. Funny story is, we happened to have our CEO, Alex, on the call, and Alex said, "Well, I know a member of their board. I can give him a call." And in 30 minutes, we had our enterprise account, which is great benefit of having someone in San Francisco in the center of all this AI changes. Okay, so and I hope it's easier to get into enterprise account these days. We switched and encouraged our whole team to use Claude Code in the beginning of August, end of July, beginning of August. And here's our usage in August. To me, these columns kind of remind like fingers, which are trying to reach money at the top. And every week they're closer and closer and reaching more and more. In order to encourage our team and our developers to use Claude Code, we introduced certification process, which is like a simple process. You have to go through checklist of tasks to try Claude Code for different kinds of tasks. And you can see how usage of Claude Code increased in August, just in August, and probably continues to grow in September as well. So this is, and we are using pay by token model. You cannot use those subscriptions on enterprise plan. So this is just purely cost of Claude AI tokens. On the next slide, I have amount spent on tokens by our champion. Well, he's champion in spending money on tokens. Would you like to guess how much single person spent in August?
Out of this amount of money?
Huh?
Out of this amount?
Yeah, out of this amount of money.
7.
706, 8%.
11.
Well, okay, it's less. Let's count down a little bit. Well, it's a team of 50 engineers. Okay, just
okay.
it's 50 engineers here. Let's try again.
Maybe
5,
30%.
3,
4.
2. First person that said 2 gets it's a correct answer. So correct answer is 2.3. But this one is for you. I will throw it, and please just pass it over. Oops. And sorry, you were saying 2?
He was saying 2. I was saying 2.
Yeah. Well, it's just 2 pair of socks. I was just. I noticed you said so. Also, Anna, you catch stocks. You're presenting next as an authorization says. All right. So our champion spent 2.3 thousand.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's not a problem.
5 years without a raise now.
If anything, we would like to see more of this. So yes, yeah. Oh, good. So this was a little bit like a backstory to how we get to even using Claude Code. I will spend a little bit time of giving like a bit more context on Claude Code and how we are using it, maybe what works best for us, or like in general, why did we choose to use Claude Code, and like we are not imposing IDEs or any other tools in our company. This is the first case we ever like impose a tool on a team. And first reason is it's CLI tool, which means developers who are used to JetBrains products or Visual Studio Code are not forced to switch, to a VS Code fork, as it is in case with Cursor. CLI tool works in your terminal. You have plugins for both popular IDEs, and you can use it with your preferred IDE. Reason number two, it's really flexible. As it seems simple as just a CLI tool, it supports all the MCP connections, well, obviously, but also it can run tasks in parallel out of the box. It's shown here. You can kind of, like, if you ask it to run things in parallel, it can do it just out of the box. You can connect it to Jira. It can read from Jira. It can write to Jira via MCP, obviously. You can connect it to Sentry. It can use other CLI tools, let's say GitHub CLI, which is also really useful for reading pull request comments, reading CI errors, and not having to copy-paste context, but just being able to access and do stuff for you. Speaking of GitHub, if you are using Claude or maybe planning to use Claude, they have great integration within GitHub itself. You can just add, well, they provide two workflows that work with GitHub Actions out of the box. One is for pull request reviews, and second one is just for responding to your comments. You can just do add Claude in your GitHub comments, in your GitHub issue, and it will do stuff for you, not on your local machine, but it will run on GitHub Actions and do stuff there. And main reason, well, it's reason number 3 here, but I think it's main reason why we think Claude Code is great is you can have your team, your developers community to contribute to common cloud files, so-called files. So one main approach how Claude allows you to modify its output, like make it work better with your code repository, is Claude ND files. This approach is not new. It's really similar to with Cursor and a bunch of other tools. But what it allows you to do, it allows you to put specific context of your repository in multiple Claude files, in multiple directories. We have monorepo, we have front-end code, back-end code, we have microservices, back-end code is split into multiple ones. You can have Claude MD into every directory, and it will provide specific context to Claude about this application, what is the patterns used there, and does not pollute kind of global context this way. But what I think, like even more fascinating or exciting thing is you can do custom commands and sub-agents, and I especially like commands. Imagine you have some repetitive task, like maybe like fixing a bug. Fixing a bug is a repetitive task you do every day. Or maybe, well, evaluating Sentry error, creating pull request according to certain guidelines, writing tests. You can specialize really precise commands for all of those tasks, and later in Claude you can just use / and type this command in, and it will pull this command description, go through steps, and do the job that it's really good at. So, but why it's great, like in this context, it's great because we are committing those commands and those configuration files into repository, and therefore when one developer comes up with some nice idea which works for the developer, they can commit this command into a common repository, and all the rest of the team can immediately benefit by using this command. So this is one of the greatest things that we see with the centralization of approach, that we are now are able to build up more useful tools much quicker. Okay, this is the demo part that I promised in the beginning. So when I said that Claude Code is CLI tool, it became quite clear that you don't need to run it locally. As it is CLI, you can install it on the server and run it there. And why would you use it locally, right? If it's great at writing code, why not just spin up a server and allow it to run there? What does it mean? at some point, our developers start saying, we should, like, the future of coding is not writing code. It is to review code. And we were thinking, but how do you achieve it? How do you only review code? So I have Jira, right? There is a task. How does it help me? How do I do this one more step and only review code and not write it at all? So let's see a quick demo. We can come up with this Jiri Piri tool. And Jiri Piri stands for, Jiri is for Jira, and Piri is for pull request. So from Jira to pull request. So if I open task in Jira, and it's task about our internal tool, I can add a label here, Jiri Piri.
Can you increase
Yes. Well, if you want to read the description of the task, sure. I added a label here, and on this end, it already appeared here at the top. So Jiri Piri picked up this task, and now it will, or maybe it will not, as it is a live demo, will go through steps and implement this task as it is described in Jira. I will open some other tasks for now and just show you how it looks. I will also increase this one. So it will go through several steps. It will check out and create a folder for this particular task. It will clone Git repos there. It will go into context analysis phase. And in this phase, it will go to Jira, read all the tickets, read all the related tickets, and prepare acceptance criteria for itself to actually solve this task. I have also small graph for this. So this is Jiri Piri. It is listening for webhook coming from Jira, and it creates a task in Firebase that we are using there for storage. And then there is a separate process, which is queue processor, running through all those tasks, listening for all the new tasks, and going through all those steps. So as we were here, context analysis, it will perform code changes, it will then do code checks and create a pull request. We have also a very similar flow when it listens for comments in GitHub and goes through a similar process there as well. What makes it available? What makes it possible? Actual things that makes it possible is the fact that Anthropic, or well, Claude, not only provides you with CLI tool itself, it also provides you with SDK. They have SDK for Python, SDK for TypeScript, and what it essentially allows you to run Claude Code as any other library in your code. We have a small example here. So it's not all the options they support. You can go and check documentation. There's much more. But for Jiri Piri, we are using MCP servers. We are configuring allowed tools per step. So for Jira, it's allowed to go for Jira. For code changes, it's allowed to edit code. And as we are using multi-step approach, you can also kind of define for Cloud whether or not to preserve context from previous steps or start from scratch. So yeah, this is, and as you might see, it's really small snippet of code, and it's really easy to implement. So this is our take on AI tools and our path and how we chose to use Claude Code. But there's one more interesting thing, and this is more like, well, it's for all of you, if you wish. The question here is, what makes Claude Code code? So why is it Claude Code? And I think there are two things. So first of all, Anthropic creates really specialized, well, not specialized, but models that are really good in coding, right? So Claude Code is using Sonnet or Opus models, which are probably best models there is on the market for coding tasks, one of the best. But those models are still general purpose, right? So it's not why Claude Code is code, right? There is another thing, which is system prompt. And Claude Code, as a piece of software, is great agent. It can do planning, it can go back and forth between tasks. If one approach doesn't work, it goes back, tries another one. And it's great agent, but also it has system prompt, which makes Claude Code to be, about coding stuff. One property in their documentation, which is officially supported, which is not, I think, being talked about too often, is you can override whole system prompt of Claude Code. And as I was showing here, using Claude Code in your code base is really easy. But then, if you override system prompt, you can have very powerful agent, which is not Claude Code anymore, which might be cloud procurement, cloud insurance, cloud banking. So it can be anything your system prompt says it to be. Obviously, you have to provide some MCP tools to connect to your platform, but it's really easy way to create an agent without doing, all the heavy lifting with using long graph long-chain and so on. So this is, I think, especially for pet projects or experiments, you can really get a very powerful agent without much of an effort. That's all from me today, and there is time for questions. And for
I'm up for the socks, they look fancy.
Yes, you will get it.
So the first one, I actually have two questions. First of all, when developers first heard that you're actually going to replace them with models, what was their attitude first? Did they actually make fun of it mostly, or being frustrated?
Someone was trying to remember what was his last business idea he wanted to start, but didn't, but mostly, well, I haven't explained it. I didn't go into details here, but Jiri Piri is a nice tool, but we are only able to use it for simple tasks, right? It still requires a little bit more, even when using Claude Code locally, to implement a complicated feature. So no one got replaced. And from me personally, I was wishing for Jiri Piri to replace me. I would much rather prefer Jiri Piri to do.
I understand all of that. I'm just asking about perception. Like, what was the attitude? Like, did they actually realize it, or and make fun of it mostly, or are they being frustrated?
So you can probably judge by my pitch that we're still hiring. So which also means that the title of the whole presentation was a little bit clickbaity. So it's like just to get people a bit more in, maybe.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
We do. So we're still hiring. That's the answer.
No, perception wasn't negative. A bunch of folks messaged me when we showed this demo for the first time to developers. A bunch of folks asked, when can I use it? And we then improved a little bit and opened it for a closed beta within our company. But today we are focusing more on GitHub integration, so we don't have to support custom infrastructure as well. And the second for
there is one more question, if I may. It's about how do you actually discern when you use which model in terms of cost, optimization, and efficiency? Yeah,
so it's not a complicated choice. It's just two options: Sonnet or Opus for Claude Code. I mean, and developers are free to choose themselves. From feedback that I'm hearing, there is no major improvement in using Opus. Opus is like 3 times more expensive. There is no major improvement of using Opus, but still, it's a little bit better. It's especially better for more complex tasks which are involving like more planning before actual coding. But developers are free to choose, and whoever prefers which model, it's like, up to them. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for the exciting presentation. So I'd like to ask some more specific detail, because you were quite specific on the technical details. But I would like to know how many actual developers have you managed to replace with the AI tool? What were the roles, the level of the developers, like junior, middle, and so on? And what was the typical stack you were managed to replace them?
As we already mentioned, none of developers were hired during this POC. We don't have junior developers at Levelpath, which might, well, we don't have interns at the moment. Interns might be replaced by this. So none of actual existing developers are replaced with Claude Code, but all of them are now using Claude Code to help them, in their job.
Like junior developers, mostly.
Well, we don't have junior developers.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So in this case, the Claude Code is used mostly like junior
Yes.
developers.
No. Claude Code as a tool is used by all developers for all tasks, even complex ones. Jiri Piri as a standalone piece who doesn't require any additional input from developer is mostly used for low complexity tasks.
Yeah, thank you for that.
And over there.
Thank you.
Yeah, you say that you are using AI to implement tasks, but what about describing them? For example, Jiri, can you use AI to translate more complex tasks to more simple tasks for AI?
Yes, with plus SOX, like that. Great question. Especially with Jira MCP, and then MCP, just for the record, is just a, as an add-on. Claude Code cannot access Jira by itself, but if you add a Jira MCP to it, it can. With Jira MCP, you can do a breakdown of the tasks in Jira, or generally just, when you prepare a plan for implementation, you can do a local MD file with a plan, and Cloud will break down it to smaller pieces. You can review them individually, you can go through them and implement one by one. I recently started to use Jiri Piri Claude Code when I have to provide descriptions for feature tickets. So I say what I need, I reference a template, also in Jira, and it's following the template, is able to provide description for a whole feature, and then also split it in a separate subtask. So, I think it's really trivial task for any LLM to kind of split and provide descriptions for tickets. So it works really well in that area, given that you have MCP connection for it. And over there was up for a long time. Yep.
Yeah. So do you have any estimation how your deliverance were improved with integrating the AI?
Great question, and I was anticipating this one. So we have a metric in place. We are counting features that we ship per quarter. And this quarter was above our goal. Our goal was 200 features, and we are going to ship, I think, like 220. But it's hard to say how much is related to using AI tools, how much it is related to just improving our processes, and also how much is related to that we are continuously hiring new people. We were doing this certification in August, so I was able to talk with a lot of our developers and get their feedback on how they feel about being more or less productive with AI. And answers are really different. Some folks are clearly excited, use it a lot daily. We saw spending of our champion right there, right? Use it daily and really love it. Some other folks, well, they're still maybe a little bit skeptical. One great response I had from one of our engineers is, when I asked him, how do you feel about it? Are you like faster with it? Do you like it? He said, I love it, but I'm so much slower with it than I without it, which, you know, also says you something. But mostly, we have really like positive feedback coming directly from developers. It's really important to understand in which tasks it helps you and in which tasks it maybe, you know, not so much. So yeah.
And does the monetary commitment that you are doing with these tokens force several improvements?
Sorry, come again?
I mean, like this monetary commitment for tokens and everything force several improvements?
Absolutely, yes, yes, no doubt about that. No doubt about that. But you know, it's expensive, and different companies look at this differently. In Levelpath, it's worth it for sure. Go ahead.
Yeah. So my question is, feature-wise, what was the biggest? Which features were the biggest reason for you to switch from the individual user accounts to the enterprise account? That's one question. And the second is, do you have statistics on Jiri Piri's approval rate regarding the pull requests it creates?
Yeah. First question, why did we change to enterprise account?
Yeah, was there some features that are clearly
lacking? No, it's just easier to manage.
Okay.
Instead of providing credit cards for employees, it's much easier to have
just,
one account.
Okay.
Yes. Also, I'm not a fan of limits that they have with their monthly plans.
Yeah.
Maybe it's gone better nowadays, but at the time it was our champion wouldn't be able to, you know. And to your second question, success rate of Jiri Piri's pull requests. It came up, it raised during the usage of it, just because we understood better what tasks are more suitable for this standalone implementation. Initially, we tried different things, and it didn't work for all of them. This is the main reason why we introduced Flow, that Jiri Piri can also respond to GitHub comments, because it was receiving GitHub comments, it couldn't respond initially, now it kind of can. It improves potential a little bit, but mostly you have to understand which tasks AI can one-shot without any additional feedback from developers. Also quite important that as long as we improve CloudMD, like this common configuration files, Jiri Piri automatically gets better as well, because it gets better understanding of our project and can perform better and better. And yeah, this is for you. Oh.
Thank you. So you need another model to identify which tasks are suitable for Jiri Piri.
Great idea. I removed this from presentation, but we had it. Just before we continue, do we have more time for questions? Because I have more socks, you know.
You can give socks to me, and no, we have more time, yeah.
Okay, 3 more questions, okay?
You already want socks. You can give to him. I want to ask a question.
Go ahead.
Regarding the Jiri Piri, so did you have to adjust your Jira flow, let's say, so the quality of the tasks before it actually were like proceeding good enough results?
Yes, description of the task improves, changes output quite a lot. If task is really vague, Jiri Piri might fail into solving it in a proper manner. The only thing that changed is before I give task to Jiri Piri, I go through description, and if I think that something is missing there, I add a comment in the Jira. So I say, Jiri Piri, be careful, look here and here before you do anything else. And it usually solves reduces the risk of Jiri Piri making a mistake.
And you're the original author of that task as well, right?
Not necessary, no.
Okay.
No.
Okay. That's clear.
Deniss,
thanks.
there is a guy who is holding hand for a long time.
Yeah. Which one? Please go ahead.
Yeah, my question is about like, so you have these tasks, right, where were completed, when you have QA process, and when it's done, right? Have you measured like what percentage of how many tasks were completed like completely successfully without any issues?
You mean by Jiri Piri or by developers using Claude Code?
By Jiri Piri.
Yeah, I think it kind of similar question to one of the previous ones. What is success rate of pull requests passing through? And let's say initially it was 50% of tasks was successful with Jiri Piri. To lately, I would even say maybe like 90, but it's because you only give Jiri Piri tasks that you're already kind of confident that it will solve successfully. So success is quite high.
Okay, so basically you determine which tasks are good for it. Right?
Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, just a follow-up question to Jiri Piri. If Jiri Piri makes Jiri Piri in code and it gets to production,
Yes.
who's responsible for it?
Well, we still have pull request review process in place, so
Who is responsible?
responsible is the guy who assigned Jiri Piri to a task. It's responsibility of the developer to actually also check before even giving this pull request to broader review, just check it himself, and then publish it to other folks to review.
Do you set some hard limits to Jiri Piri so it didn't like empty your bank account? Because we all hear these stories, like I run some cloud task and it's like $1,000 minus on my account.
As we mentioned before, we are encouraging people to use it more. We don't set any limits right now. It's quite an opposite. I think we had a limit from Anthropic side initially, and we had to increase multiple times just to accommodate our
premium clients.
Well, yeah. Well, last question. Go ahead.
How many employees and hours it took for you to develop Jiri Piri?
Well, fun fact is, it was Claude Code who developed Jiri Piri, and it took around $150 to create it from scratch.
So
to
the task
completion.
on creating Jiri Piri was done within a day?
Within few evenings, I would say, something like that. Yeah.
That's good.
Well, yeah. Thank you.
So, we have chocolate time, and those who didn't get chance to ask questions, just come to Deniss and ask questions in person. Thank you very much.
Thank you.